All right, guys, what's going on? My name is Nick, and today I'm going to go over the 3 pillars that you guys really need to understand when it comes to running a marketing agency or any online service-based business for that matter. I'm going to go over these in a separate video, but I really want to get a brief overview and show you guys, how easy it actually is to be able to start this. Now, for background, I've worked in the agency space for a couple of years now, and I'm currently a operations manager over at a 7-figure agency. So I get a really good bird's eye, and I get to see people struggling. I get to see what works and what doesn't pretty much on a day-to-day basis. And these are a couple of things I really wanted to bring up for the people that are maybe struggling, or for people that haven't taken the step to really try to accomplish what they're trying to here. And as I said before, we're going to go through them on a separate video and really dive into, how to get these things rocking and rolling here. So first things first, you're going to need a niche. You're going to need to find something that you resonate with or have a competitive advantage with. For example, I've worked with med spas. I've worked with detailers. Currently, I work with chiropractors. And all of these, I would say I have a competitive advantage in because I understand their services and I understand the barrier to entry for them. Now, a lot of people like to come into the industry and they want to choose restaurants because, they've worked in a restaurant or a hair salon. But there's a couple of things that you need to realize when you're picking your niche. First things first, you're going to want to be able to get them a return as soon as possible. Now, somebody that works in a hair salon might sell a package for $47 to get a haircut, whereas a chiropractor, when you're selling spinal decompression, these packages can range anywhere from $2,500 all the way up to $10,000 because it is a high-ticket service. And because of this, they can justify spending more on their marketing, which means more money in your pocket over time. Once you guys kind of find one of these, if you don't have any experience, I would definitely recommend reaching out to different businesses just on Instagram, asking them to give you some more information. This is definitely the best way to kind of learn what they're going to need and what they're looking for in a marketing company. Not only does this give you a better place on the board, but it actually shows you care, and you actually have a really good chance of signing your first client this way. So if you're going to do this, this kind of leads into outreach. The best way to do this, once you do understand, the industry and how you're going to get these results, is you need to get the clients. And this is where a lot of people quit. This is where a lot of people get strung up, because it can go 3, 6, even a whole year of nothing before you go out and you get these clients, but it's really not that hard. The organic ways, the easiest way, especially for outbound client acquisition, is going to be either through cold email or Instagram DMs or cold calls. Now, this is simply a numbers game. There's a ton of people out there on TikTok that are going to tell you, send 50, 100, or even more, but that's simply not enough. You're going to want to compete by volume and not service, because these guys have heard every pitch under the sun. So for cold email, I would recommend sending around 2,500 emails a day. I can make a separate video on how to do that, but I would say right now, the best way for client acquisition is paid ads. If you have the money, you need to be investing in paid ads, because this is a way to streamline the appointment booking on autopilot, so you're able to scale your business quickly. You can set aside $1,000 to $2,000, and if you can really ramp up, then that's where you can start to reinvest in the paid ad system, and you get to start seeing really big numbers. For example, our agency last month, we spent $7,000. We did $65,000 cash collected with a contractual value of $85,000. So it's definitely important to kind of take a look at it from face value and say, hey, I'm investing in this. This is super important, and I'm going to keep doing that. Now, if you can't afford it, if you don't have a job, I would definitely recommend things like DoorDash, Instacart, anything to get your foot in the door, anything that you can to really kickstart the fire under paid ads should be taken. You need to take those steps in order to achieve this. And if you can achieve it, this is what's going to change your life. Because at the end of the day, you have a 6-month period to work really hard. And you're sitting at the end of that 6 months with a pot of gold that can change your and your family's life forever. Most of the people that look into building marketing agencies, they want to drive the Lambos, they want to go to parties, they want to hang out at the beaches, and they want this laptop lifestyle. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of sacrifices, because what they don't see is the end of the story. And the end of the story is when you actually get to sell the business and you get to exit. This is why these 3 pillars are very important, because it helps you realize there's not a lot that you need to actually succeed in this. So we covered our niche. We covered getting people in the door. Now, what do you do when a lead comes in? Obviously, you take an intro call, which is a discovery call, to see, 1, if they're financially qualified to work with you. 2, if you guys would be a good fit together in terms of just doing business. And 3, if you're able to add urgency and lead them down the pipeline. This means to get them on a demo presentation where you go, you close, you collect payment, and then you can start the fulfillment process, which is onboarding. So let's lead into fulfillment. Guys, I'm going to be making separate videos with this, so if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments, and then I can come back around and address those in separate videos where we really dive in how to do this. Now, for fulfillment, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. I would say the best way to do it is a done-for-you service. Gone are the days of, hey, we're going to bring you leads, you're going to pay us this, and it's a done deal. You need to be adding things in your services. This is the number one thing that's going to separate you from the rest of the 16-year-olds that are cold calling your potential clients. You need to offer things like call centers, like booking services. Not only are you going to be running ads, but you're actually going to embody being a business owner. You need to remember that these people are looking to make money. They're not looking to waste their time. What are a bunch of leads if they don't book in? Nothing. We need to start promising things like booked appointments, certain revenue numbers, and really set expectations around you guys are going to do the heavy lifting while they sit back and you're selling the result. So done for you services look a little something like this. A lead comes in the pipeline and you have a call center call them out. You can either white label by getting referral call centers, or you can start to build your own by hiring people that are overseas that are going to be getting paid pretty well for what they do, but they're actually going to be able to provide the results that your clients are looking for. And you can go with done with you services, whether it's really hardcore sales training or you're training front desks to do this, it still works. But at the end of the day, the done for you services are much better than the done with you. Another thing you can courses. You can actually sell your system to different businesses. Let's say I wanted to go to a chiropractor. I can actually sell them what we did and what we built as a course, so they're able to implement that in their own business. And not only is the service delivery super easy because you don't really have to fulfill on anything other than providing them with the actual course, but they have the peace of mind knowing that they're able to build something, they're able to really lay out a foundation, and if they really commit to it, then they're going to see the success and the fruition from which comes. Now, it's really important when you're doing things that aren't completely covered by you, it's very important to set expectations around the results that they're going to get, because at the end of the day, you are the person that's the expert, and they are the student. So we need to remember this, and we need to set expectations. Now, lastly, I don't know why I tie this in fulfillment, but it's really important, and a lot of people overlook this. Most people get stuck on the sales side, but they don't realize if you don't retain the people, your monthly recurring revenue drops, and things like refunds, disputes, and chargebacks can come around to kind of bite you at the end. So say you have a monster month. You chose your niche, you invested in paid ads, you started dialing in a sales process, and you're making $10,000, $15,000 a month. That means nothing when people come around and they dispute the charges or they refund because they don't feel like you're there for them in the final process. This is super important, and we need to make sure that we're getting on calls with them every 2 weeks. So I hope you guys learned a little bit from this. I'm going to break it down one more time really, really fast to kind of give you the TLDR for this. So first things first, you're going to want to choose a niche that has a good barrier to entry, somebody who's going to be able to really take from what you give and be able to make a return quickly on the investment that they spend with you. Next, we're going to need to master outreach. If it's outbound, this is a volume game. If it's inbound through paid ads, then you need to start to dial in that sales process. But paid ads is the number one way that you're going to be able to get clients in the door and sitting in front of you for those calls. Once you get the client, you're going to want to do a discovery call to make sure they're financially capable and that they're actually able to afford the service. And then you can start to see if you guys are a good fit. And if you are, you book them for the demo. And by then, they should be already sold on the process because you've already dove in enough into their pain points, what they're struggling with, they want to do in the future, and kind of build out that action plan to really add urgency on being able to develop those. Now, for fulfillment, I would always recommend done for you services, but if you're doing a done with you or an education type service, you're going to really want to set expectations around those. Lastly, to make sure you wrap everything up, you're going to want to maintain a structure of retention calls or check-in calls to make sure that these people are happy, that you're adhering to their concerns so you can sit there, answer their questions, and keep them recurring customers. So if you guys have any questions, we're going to dive way deeper into it and really show you guys how to get going with all of this. I hope you guys have a good one. I appreciate you guys watching. Bye-bye.